Hello fellow tech leads. Today I'd like to share with you a bulletproof approach for coaching engineers in your team. This approach is simple yet efficient, and I'm very surprised that engineering leaders rarely talk about it. When it comes to coaching engineers, engineering leaders oftentimes focus solely on the theoretical part. They help engineers get the right reading materials that put a lot of good knowledge into the heads of bright young junior engineers. For example, if a senior engineer sees that a developer in their team lacks a certain specific skill set, a typical response is, "Hey, I can recommend a good book or a good YouTube channel about this. Check it out." And, well, of course, while getting sufficient theoretical knowledge is important, it is by no means enough to be successful at the competitive engineering jobs. It is practice that makes it perfect, and unfortunately, coaching practical skills is way more difficult than simply suggesting a book. Here is the general approach that I found the most useful in practical skills coaching. Always give your engineers technical problems that are slightly more complex than they are capable of solving. Let's decompose this statement, as it has some important prerequisites for the coaching to be successful. First is give your engineers technical problems. As a senior engineer, you should be responsible for selecting the tasks and the projects for your more junior colleagues, especially if you are on the hook for their professional growth. If someone else is in charge of this, well, then they have the authority and they should be following the recommendations, not you. Second is they are capable of solving. You need to be aware of the skill sets that the junior engineers in your team have and the level of their proficiency in this skill set. If you're not paying attention to what your engineers can and cannot do, well, please fix that first before doing any coaching. We talk more about this topic in this video. Third is slightly more complex. This is the key part here, and this is what this video is mostly about. When you assign a task or a project to your engineers, look for opportunities to choose tasks that are just above of what the engineer can already do. Generally, it's good to have about 5 to 10% of the work in the project to be something that engineer doesn't know yet or doesn't know enough yet. And finally, always, this practice should not be something that you occasionally apply every now and then. It should be your default mode of operation if you really want to grow as a good engineering coach. We talk more about the need of the constant coaching in this video. All right, so why does this method work? What's so special about this constant little stretching of the skill set of your engineers? Well, there are multiple reasons why it actually works the best. First, well, to gain practical knowledge, engineers need to do stuff instead of learning about stuff. If their project has 5 to 10% of work that they have never done before, then they will learn that kind of work by doing it. Moreover, the presence of the practical challenges makes gaining theoretical knowledge more natural and just easier. Engineers, they are practical people. They tend to learn the theory quicker when this theory is needed to solve a real practical problem. Second, you constantly give opportunities to your engineers to improve. They might take them or they might not, but they're always there. The developers who are interested in growing are usually thirsty for these opportunities and would highly appreciate them. This generally contributes to a healthier and more motivated team. Third, the little uncertainty and some small challenges make the engineering work more interesting and more exciting. People generally get bored when they do the same things over and over again, and you definitely don't want this kind of boredom to be present in your team. And finally, Having just 5 to 10% of challenging work is definitely doable and not very scary. If engineers succeed of doing this 5 to 10% of challenging work, great, they learn something new. If they fail, that's fine too. They would still deliver the other 90-95% that they knew how to do, and they hopefully learn from the failure and will do better next time. Of course, this approach has some downsides, and the most obvious issue is that the engineers may not succeed in learning what they need for that challenging 5 to 10% part, and they can just straight up fail to deliver that. And it's your job as a technical leader to follow on the progress of that work with extra attention and to try to get an early signal if engineer needs your help. It is usually better to provide some help to the engineer that struggles, such that engineer can finish the work themselves with your help rather than just picking up their work and doing it instead of them. Engineers for sure will learn better if they go through the struggles themselves, even with other people's help. And another question is, why tasks and projects should be just slightly more difficult? Why can't we just go all in and give engineers projects that stretch their skill sets a lot? Well, that's a recipe for disaster on multiple levels. First, such an approach is more likely to fail the whole project and not just a small piece of it. And second, is much easier for engineers to learn incrementally in small chunks of knowledge, rather than trying to consume a lot of learnings all at once. And third, it would definitely increase the stress level of the engineers, which also doesn't lead to a healthy and stable working environment. Generally, too much of a challenge should be avoided. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new from it that you could apply to your everyday work life as a technical leader. Give us a like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video.